So, hello, friends. I am Kiki Valentine, activist, advocate, writer, county committee member, and your annoying neighbor who posts on Facebook too much. I am here right now with Paperboy Love Prince, who is running for Congress in the 7th Congressional District, which includes a lot of neighborhoods. I'm going to rattle a few of them off. Boerum Hill, Cobble Hill, Carroll Gardens, Gowanus, Dumbo, Red Hook, Williamsburg, Bushwick. Got 3 neighborhoods in Queens, Greenpoint, the Lower East Side, the East Village, East New York, Sunset Park. How do we have a district that goes all the way to Greenpoint to Red Hook? It's like the light rail that will never happen.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity to represent everyone in all these different neighborhoods. Yes, the districts are drawn in a way to confuse the voter, right? The average American voter, it's confusing. When we're taught in school, bringing it back to the kids, when we're taught in school, we're taught our shapes, we're taught our numbers, we're taught everything very logically in a way that makes sense. But the way that we cut up our districts doesn't make sense at all. It's actually completely different than how the average human person thinks. I mean, if you see this actual map, doesn't make sense. It's gerrymandered, right? And they do this to cut up the power of your neighborhood, the voting power of your neighborhood, and to keep the incumbents in power.
How long has the incumbent been in power for our congressional district?
Right now, our current representative has been there for over 27 years, and which, while we thank them for their service and we appreciate that work, at the same time, that's longer than many kings, many queens actually rule in monarchies, right? And this is a democracy. This is not a dictatorship. This is a democracy. And many Americans don't know the power that their local elected officials have over their everyday life, right?
You see that now with COVID-19 and even what's happening with the reform of 50A and policing, community policing and community issues that are deeply at the core of so many struggles and conversations right now.
Exactly. We're so focused on Donald Trump that we forget about all of our Donald Trumps that we have here locally that are enacting the same type of policies, presenting the same type of energy, using these same type of fear tactics to rule. They're doing the same things. They're the ones that he's even learned from. They're the ones that are even behind it. And, they have been in power longer than him.
Why are people so disinterested traditionally with local elections? Why do they just not care? Why do they not even show up? Only, what did you say before? 4% of the 250,000 registered Democrats in our district will vote on or before the 23rd of June.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, in the primary, the turnout is so low, and that's all on purpose. That is a strategy to keep the incumbents in power. If you're not excited, if you're not interested, a lot of people that I've talked to when I talk to them about voting, and this is of all different races, genders, backgrounds, as well as educational backgrounds. I'm talking about smart people. They said the last time that they voted was for Obama. That was the last time that they were excited to vote. And this is a lot of people because they just, the fear doesn't get them out to vote. It's passion that gets you out to vote. And then the local elections, these elected officials, their power is in their anonymity. The fact that you don't know who they are, I mean, literally ask your neighbor if they know their congressperson, their state assembly person, their council person. Most people don't.
You have to answer that in the form. The kids or families have to answer if they've ever met their elected official, and no judgment if you haven't, because these are these invisible leaders. I don't want to say invisible monsters because they're not all monsters. There's some great people who have fought really hard to have these seats, but there are also people who have been in these seats for decades. And
Right.
So when you say that you want to bring to the people love, connect with love and communicate with love and fresh ideas, just really quickly, because we're almost out of time, we want you to come and join us at Civics on Saturday morning Civics. It's a all ages version of our Civics for Littles that Kings County Forest School is hosting. So what is something that you will leave folks with, Paperboy, to entice them into joining us on Saturday morning with a cup of coffee and their little ones?
Well, something I can tell you about directly focused on the children and focused on families is more futuristic schools. And a lot of politicians, when they talk to you, another thing I'll say is this: another politicians, when they talk to you, they tell you they want more jobs, more work. They keep preaching these things to force you to work. And while work is good, and that's what we want to be productive. I'm the only politician that I've heard saying more time with your family, more time with your friends, more time doing what you love, more time pursuing your passion, more time actually focusing on the humanity, the soul of many people, because we've left that out. We focused so much on the economy that we've lost and forgot all about humanity. And if you really care about the economy, we could be so much more productive if people were actually uplifted and happy and excited and doing what the Constitution says, pursuing happiness, right? So this is something that I'm about.
Isn't that what's happening right now, though? Our economy has disappeared for the most part for many, 20% of Americans right now, all Americans have no job. So people have been forced to reconnect with their family. So I think what I'm hearing from you is that let's continue this and modify our lives, learning what we've learned in quarantine for the last 3 months and what we've seen on our streets for the last 3 weeks, which
Right.
took 400 years to happen.
Right. And as a quick note, I know we're running out of time. Speaking of ways to continue this, that's one of the reasons that I'm a champion of the 4-day work week as a first step. Labor unions are the same people that gave us the weekend. There was a time in this country where there was no weekend. The people were working all day long, 16-hour days, as many people already still do in this country. And many people still do work 7 days a week and don't have weekends. But a lot of us are afforded the luxury of having a weekend because of hardworking people that fought and protested for us to have these luxuries and these rights. And I think it's also time for a 4-day work week. And as a small business owner myself, I can tell you that people are more motivated and they are a lot more productive when they have felt like they've had time to have their leisure and actually explore the activities outside of their normal work. So having more of a work-life balance, right? Like actually being able to live. This is what this is about. We shouldn't just be focused on solving the problems with not actually having a vision for the future, a more livable community, more love, So these are the types of issues that I'm actually bringing to the table and talking about. Like what does our future look like?
I have a really important question that would be remiss if people know me and I don't ask this question, I'm going to hear it.
Okay.
What about parental leave, maternity leave? What are we talking about as far as when people have a baby? Some people go back to work after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, some paid, some unpaid. It's getting better, but that's a big issue. Other countries, people don't go to work for a year. So
Definitely.
That's something that I think parents are going to want to hear about because that hasn't changed.
Definitely. And that's why I am a champion of a Department of Child Services, just a new federal department that focuses on the children and raising the children. The children are our future and we treat them like trash. We treat our children like, and when I say we, I don't mean our parents and our communities, I mean our government. We don't invest enough into our children. We invest into all of these other things, but our children they're diamonds literally sitting in our laps, and we have a chance to cultivate their minds and their futures. And part of that takes us actually being there. It's not just having the money to raise them, it's actually having that care. And that's why that's all of what I'm about when I mentioned humanity, right? Like you want to be there for your kid. You want to see those first steps. You want to have that time, as much time as possible, because as you know, that those years of them growing up, it's only a short amount of time. There's a bunch of time as them, as an adult, but from 1 year old being a baby to 10 to 13 to 15, those years, they flash by just like that. My parents had 5 children. I'm the oldest of 5. And my mom always talks about, now my youngest sister just graduated college from Pace University, and we all finished college in 4 years. And my mom talked about, man, y'all are all gone. And when I was there, I was always rushing, taking you guys to practice and picking you up from school, taking you to choir rehearsal. And it's like, now I'm like, oh, I miss it. My dad says, man, I miss taking you guys to practice and all this. I wish I had these opportunities back. And at the time I was like, oh, my weekend's taken up by doing all this stuff with my 5 kids. And it's like, now it's like, oh, that's what life is about. Life isn't about how many reports that I sent in at the office. Life is about how many smiles I got to witness from my son, my daughter, and things like that. So I'm a huge champion of more time with your family, and not just more time, more quality time with your family. And like you mentioned, other countries, they actually have full month of vacation, and they bake that in to their democracy. You know, they have family courses that you take in high school. I spoke with some friends from Canada, and they talk about, wait, you guys don't have ethics and family class? So like, I'm like, family class, ethics? We never had that in our public education system.
And we don't have civics, which is why we're talking now, and we'll be talking again on Saturday morning. I don't want to cut you off. We were only supposed to talk for 3 minutes, everyone, but every time I get on with Paperboy, this is how it goes. I hope that you will throw down, what is your campaign website for people to check out in the interim before Saturday?
Yes, you can check us out at paperboyprince.com, or if you want to speak with me directly, you can call me at paper92327, and that's 727-379-2327. More than happy to talk with you and get to know you. So thank you so much, Kiki, again, for all that you're doing and all the work that you're doing. And I'm super excited to join you on Saturday and work more in the future.
Happy to have you, and really excited to see if you can explain what you want to do to a 5-year-old.
Okay.
Take care. See you then.
All right. See ya. Peace.